Good morning. Today's guests of honor are Malkiel and Tova Nechamkin. The Nechamkins have been living in Clifton for over 20 years, and they've been pillars of our community for many of those years. Both Malkiel and Tova give generously from their time, their money, and their other resources to assist individuals and organizations both within our community and outside of our community. Whenever there's a call for help, whether financial or otherwise, the Nechamkins are always one of the first people to respond to that call. For a good few years, their home was the warehouse and staging center for Tomchei Shabbos, even installing refrigerators and freezers lining their basement to house all that food. And still today, even though Tomchei Shabbos has its own facility, not only are they active board members, but to a large degree they are Tomchei Shabbos. In addition, they have and they do open their home for other organizations. I've been there a number of times. Recently, I actually asked Malkiel to lend his support to an organization from out of town, and I was humbled by his responsiveness, his support, and his commitment. They are true role models for us, how to do real chesed, how to give tzedakah, and how to do it b'hatznei aleches. Through their work within the community, the Nechamkins have an intimate and strong pulse of the communal and individual needs of the community, and in this role, they've been active partners for JFS. Knowing the Nechamkins and their quiet, sneistic way, I'm certain that they'd much rather be in the shadows right now and not in the limelight. But in all honesty, there really isn't a more deserving couple than the Nechamkins to receive this honor. May Hashem bless them that they should continue to be able to give. They should be able to continue their holy work for the Klal for many more years in good health, and they should have only nachas from their children. Please join me in honoring Mr. and Mrs. Malkiel Nechamkin. I'd like to call Moshe Lukins and Yaakov Briskman to join me on the podium.
There is now a video presentation from Rabbi Sachs in honor of the Nechamkins. Please direct your attention to the video screens.
The Mishnah in the fourth parak of Pirkei Avos explains the name of Rabbi Shimon, that there are three different crowns, that of Torah, Kahuna, and Malchus. The Tashbes explains that that corresponds to an earlier Mishnah that tells us the name of Shimon HaTzadik, that the world rests on three pillars, that of Torah, Avoda, and Gemilus Chasadim. And this is even true when it comes to the Beis Hamikdash. There are many different kelim, vessels that are used for Avodas Hamikdash. The Torah is represented by that of the Aron and the Menorah. The Mizbachos represent that of service of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Avoda. And the Shulchan, the Ramban writes, embodies Gemilus Chasadim. And just as one finds in the Mikdash that those various kelim, the Aron, the Mizbeach, the Shulchan, has a zer, a crown, the same thing is true when it comes to each individual. The three crowns that Rabbi Shimon mentions, that of Torah, Kahuna, and Malchus. The Mishnah, however, continues and tells us that there is an additional crown, and that is a Keser Shem Tov, the crown of an appropriately good name. And the obvious question raised by the Machzor Vitri is, in total then, there are four crowns. Why is it that the Mishnah says there are only three? The Machzor Vitri and Chosid Yavitz answer that Shem Tov is not an independent crown, but rather it is a sum, it is a composite of all of the other crowns. When you excel in areas of Torah, Avoda, and Gemilus Chasadim, then necessarily you're able to wear the Keser Shem Tov. The Nechamkins, Malkiel, and Tova, this year's honorees, certainly embody these virtues and these values. Throughout the Kehillah, they're active in every facet of chesed, supported of so many of the most Torah of our Kehillah. My relationship with them is one that spans years. Baruch Hashem, I was a Rebbe to their children, and it's a special personal privilege to be able to wish them a Birchas Mazel Tov on this especially deserved honor. HaKadosh Baruch Hu should bless them, grant them with nachas from their children, abundant bracha, and intense siyata dishmaya.